me and my dad had a tough conversation when my grandpa died. I didn't feel like my dad was there enough.
Yeah.
And I told him that. I said, hey, why weren't you there enough? And he said, his exact words were, I apologize, but I just raised you the way I was raised.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when he said that, it's like, it was like 20-something years worth of, I wouldn't even say hurt, but like anger and frustration. Yeah, it was like a release because I'm like, wow, he was just doing what he was taught. I was younger. I was like, dang, I can't wait to find a mentor who just tell me what to do. And my mom said, you were looking for that, but you became that.
Because I had friends that I knew that was, they was going through things and they had the thought of killing themselves too.
Right. I think at some point we've all at least thought about it once. I can tell you, I've had those, because you just like, I'm not doing nothing. I make no impact on the world, but then you don't realize how many people love you.
Yeah.
And people be like, oh, nobody love me. That's bullshit. Yeah. Bullshit. It's somebody. Like, so I was like, I'm gonna do credit. I was like, if I can understand credit, I can learn how to travel. Credit, I was like, you should start helping people. Like, for real. Like, I was like, nah, I don't want to do that because I don't really like people. Because I hate when people make excuses. No, I'm serious. I hate when people make excuses. So I told you I did the therapy stuff because I knew after football I was not okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I was struggling. I was I was about 250. I was 250. I just drinking, smoking, eating, working, traveling. That's all I was doing. If we can hear, we're gonna keep it a buck. We got some uncles and aunties and family that touch little kids, and parents don't believe it. And it's like, what you mean slide it up under the rug so nobody don't know about it? Nah, bro, we gonna address that. When you make goals, or even when you make goals, or even when I make goals, sometimes we think about the end goal. And something my grandpa used to say, he used to be like, a lot of times we don't make decisions because we think about the end goal. So we think about A to Z. We not thinking about God putting us in B, C, D, E, F, G.
Hello world. Welcome to another episode of Generational Health and Self-Love. I'm your host, Lai.
Ron Easy.
And today we have a very special guest in the building. We have someone that's going to help everyone with any type of credit problems they may be having. We're going to talk about those issues, financial literacy, just trying to educate the people on how to take care of their finance and live well as they mature and grow into their later years. So without further ado, we're going to welcome our guest, Mr. Jamari James.
Sorry.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so you want to say anything before we get started?
Definitely. I think this is a very important podcast because I feel like we don't really get this type of information a lot, especially in schools nowadays. Sure. And I think it's very important because credit is almost everything. Like credit is everything when it comes to financial. So, and I feel like a lot of our people aren't aware of the benefits and the what we can really do with getting control of our credit.
For sure.
Definitely. So, could you speak to the people and tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, so my name is Jamari James. I specialize in credit, but I consider myself a financial strategist because, like Life said, it's way bigger. It's way bigger than just credit, right? When it comes, credit is the base, but that gives you the opportunity to, utilize OPM, other people's money, and create the life and the dream of the things you want to do. Each and every one of you guys got a dream. Each and every one of you guys know what you want your life to look like. But a lot of times, most thing that's stopping a lot of people that look like us, a lot of other minorities, is credit. We don't got no credit, or we messed it up in the past, not understanding, or grandparents or parents said don't ever use credit. So we thinking, I got cash, I'm good. And then you go to the bank and try to get a loan for a business. And they looking at you like, I understand you got this amount of cash, but you don't have no credit. So you look like a liability to us. So really just for me, like to touch on what you said, coming up, I was never taught. And a lot of us were never taught.
I got the opposite. I heard that people was like scared of credit cards or not to use them one day. It was bad for you.
Exactly, because what happened was, maybe when your dad was young, he probably can attest to this, the older generations, when they were getting into college, they used to have the people at school telling you, hey, get this credit card, you $5,000, you can do whatever you want. So people are getting them.
And then getting in debt.
They can't pay it back. So now they like, oh no, when they getting older, they're traumatized.
Right.
They're like, don't touch credit, don't use it, don't do anything.
Scam.
That's the biggest one. That's what people tell me. I was like, but credit repair is a scam. I just be like, hey, if that's how you feel, then I completely understand. So I think a lot of people just have a bad stigma because they either of what somebody's told them, or their own experiences, or not even understanding how to utilize it in the right way, and just being real. A lot of people greedy. Yeah. So a lot of people don't take the necessary actions to do the right thing when they do have credit. They might go get a credit card or go to, I know back in the day people used to rent furniture.
Yeah.
Right? So going to the different furniture places, renting your bedroom, your living room, washer and dryer, you done spent 5, 6, 7 grand, and then you like, I ain't paying these folks back. Well, cool. Now you done shot yourself in the foot and put yourself in the hole. So I agree. I do think it's not taught in schools for a reason. I think in the United States in general, they have a agenda.
Yeah, and I feel like when it's taught like that, and we believe it because either we're young or we don't know about it. When you don't know,
Correct.
you just go with
Yeah,
what
you
somebody
go
says.
exactly. Just like, there might have been things your dad taught you that you believed, and then you get older and start like,
learn.
well, it might be a little different now that I'm older, but that was his experience,
Yeah.
right? So I do feel like a lot of things aren't taught in school because, how do I put this without being condescending?
I don't think it's schools. I feel like school is for a purpose and it's not to
Correct.
have us.
There we go. I agree with you. It's for, I feel like school for a lot of people, unless you go for certain majors and things like that, is to help you become what they want you to become, and that's
A good worker.
There you go.
Yeah.
Live the American dream.
Yeah.
Get a good job, get married, have kids, white picket fence, new car, new house. And you think about all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, all that stuff is dead.
Yeah, nowadays people who work in a regular job can't even afford that stuff. Especially like with houses, like you can't buy a house for a good price house right now because
Correct.
they're way over the market right now.
And
So,
you can have the amount of cash for that house, but because you don't have credit, they like, nah, we're not gonna do that. Because if you have a house of 200,000 and I've never had credit, I say, hey, I'm gonna give you 200,000. They didn't make any money off you. So that interest rate, they don't get to take advantage of that. So things like that. So just coming up, I never learned. I played sports my whole life, high school. I was blessed to get a scholarship to play football at the University of West Georgia out in Carrollton. Okay. And in my time there, I was an accounting major. I became an accounting major because I was good at math. Right. And I knew I didn't want to be a math teacher or do engineering. So 2 years into my major, I was like, I don't like this. Wow. I was like, I don't want to do this. That's what I said. I told myself that. And I was literally sitting in my room in my apartment as a sophomore, and I'm on the computer doing homework, and I'm like, bro, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
What was it about it that made you have that feeling that because you went into it wanting to do it? So what changed?
Well, I didn't understand it. I just knew, I'm good at math. Right. This is something I want to do. Not realizing this is boring. I'm gonna do the same thing every single day until I retire. I was like, I don't want to do this, but it was too late for me to change. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm gonna stick it out. I know I can have some transferable skills from this major and figure out what I want to do along the way. Because we both know, when you play sports, everybody has a dream of going pro, but you got to be realistic. Everybody not going to go pro. You can be the most talented, and it's just not going to happen for you, right? So as I became a senior, got redshirted my freshman year, had another year to play ball, I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to start my master's. So graduated my undergrad in accounting, started on my MBA because I'm like, all right, I understand the numbers, now let me understand how businesses operate as a whole. And
so you went ahead and got your degree in accounting.
Yes, I got I stuck it out. Yeah, I stuck it out. I got the undergrad because now I understand how the numbers work. Okay. So then I said, all right, cool. For my master's, I'm not doing accounting. I said I did an MBA because I had another year to play ball. But in my mind is my mentor playing in the NFL, so I'm gonna make it. Yeah. It's set. We good to go. So, I won't talk bad on anybody. I'll just say politics took over. Yeah. In that last 2 years of collegiate football, and I just got to a point where I was like, I don't want to play football no more.
What position was you?
I played safety, so I was a DB.
Oh yeah. So that's a really good position.
Yeah, you gotta be smart. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, you like a quarterback of the defense.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So just got to where I allowed people to take the joy away from me, and I kind of just like, I don't want to do this no more, but I still stuck it out. Ended up getting in a situation where coach made some comments to a scout, and that was it. Yeah. And my mentor straight up told me, he's like, hey, there's nothing I can do. Yeah. He basically said whoop de whoop, and that was the end of it. So at that point, I was depressed. I was like, bruh, my dream is gone, but I'm gonna still chase it. So out of my master's, got a job as an internal auditor for a firm down in Fayetteville, and I'm traveling. But when I'm in the weeks I'm in Atlanta, I'm still working out. I'm working out hard. I'm still going to the gym, still doing everything. Ended up dislocating my kneecap.
While training?
While training. So dislocated my kneecap, and I was blowed. And did the rehab, and during the rehab, I just realized, I was like, maybe this is God talking to me. Yeah. But you had those thoughts. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, no, I'm going to still get another shot. Boom. Broke a bone in my foot literally right after that. So after those two, and I never had been injured playing during collegiate.
All the way up to college and all.
Never had been injured. So I said, okay. I felt like that was God's way of saying, hey, man, listen, I gave you this dream for 15, 16, 17 years since you was an adolescent as a child. Now it's time for you to move on. So I just as an internal auditor and being in and jumping, we younger than you, so I was cool with leaving the job trying to find something else. So
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there 6, 7, 8 months, and
Couple months.
I'm the type of guy where my mom and grandma, even my dad, they always instilled, if you don't understand something, ask. So I'll ask why.
Yeah.
So if you my manager and I see you not doing, I'll ask you. So I'm cool. I was cool with asking those questions. I'm cool with having those conversations, but a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
So I
They just
would,
want you to be a
It makes them feel uncomfortable.
it makes them feel uncomfortable. But if you were my leadership, and I'm taught the leader's supposed to lead, and you're not leading, and I ask you a question or I ask you something,
Then they get all mad. And
so I had a couple situations like that, and ruffled some feathers. So just after being at a couple jobs and really just understanding like there's more out there.
Yeah.
And my grandpa passed September of 2020. So prior to that, he kept telling me, he said, you have everything you need to jump out there and be an entrepreneur. You just scared. And I was like, nah, I ain't scared. He's like, yeah, you are. He's like, if not, you would have been did it. You keep going to these jobs. You know what I'm saying? You go from being an internal auditor to being in accounting to like, he's like, you scared?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I ain't scared, man. Like, taking a challenge. I was like, nah, I'm not scared. I just don't know what I want to do. He's like, well, then he's like, while you working at your next job, take a couple months and figure out what it is that you want to do and what that looks like.
Yeah.
So he started asking me the tough questions. I said, all right, I want to be successful. He said, okay, what does that look like for you? And I feel like a lot of times, parents out there, y'all might agree or disagree. Sometimes parents don't take the time, and I'm not blaming my parents, or nobody takes the time to ask the kid, what do you really want?
Yeah.
Because we don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't know. We know, I want to be successful. I want to have money. I want to do this. Okay, what does that look like?
Yeah.
It might be a job making 6 figures, or it might be you actually working for yourself, doing something you like and being fulfilled. So I knew for a fact I liked helping people, but I didn't know what that looked like. And I always been a competitor. So I'm looking at it like, we have an underserved community in just basic financial literacy.
Yep.
We don't have seats at tables. And then when we get seats at certain tables, it's like we got to act like somebody that we're not to put on a persona or a stigma to stay in that position. It's like I never wanted to do that. I never wanted to do that.
That's good.
And there have been jobs that I probably got turned down from, or situations where I probably could have made a lot of money, but I just never. I was big on not selling myself. So when my grandpa passed in 2020, I was like, all right, bet. I was like, I'm jumping off the porch.
Yeah.
I left the job I was at.
How long was you at that job before you?
Almost 2 years.
Ooh.
But
tough.
It was tough because I'm like, I know I don't want to be here. So I'm big on my work craft.
Yeah.
I don't want my product to ever lack because the feeling is not there. And I start to see it. So I'll tell my boss, I was like, hey, I'm putting in my resignation. And she's like, you sure? I was like, yeah. I was like, it's more out there for me and I got to figure it out. And she was like, I respect that. And after that, started really studying financial literacy, found some mentors, found people who were actually teaching what I wanted to learn, not the fluff some of these gurus.
What drove you to financial literacy?
At the time, I had just bought a house.
Okay.
And I knew that there were investments I wanted to make, but just the paycheck at work wasn't the only thing that's going to do it.
Yeah.
So I did like your son. I got into the Turo space for a little bit. I was like, I don't really like that too much.
Yeah.
Was very successful in the Airbnb space, but partnered with somebody and it went. Yeah.
I did the same.
Yeah, but it's because sometimes you see the glitz and glamour, like, oh, this person can help me, and we got in a partnership, and it was a bad situation. And but it taught me a lot about running my own business, the systems that people actually have to put in place and stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm very smart. I can pick up stuff easy, and I love to read. Yeah. So I'm gonna get into the credit space because if I can understand credit, and I can really start leveraging OPM like I hear people talk about, but not really understanding that even while, on a fixed income at a job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because we've all seen it. You work a job, you get paid on Friday, you start paying bills, and you ain't got nothing left.
Yeah, your money already accounted for.
Exactly. So I said, what can I do? What can I build, or what can I make to where that extra skill is now handling the bills, so everything else is accessible to investments.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna do credit. I was like, if I can understand credit, I can learn how to travel. I already was learning how to travel using credit cards from one of my previous bosses at my original job.
Yeah.
It's funny. She made a comment one time. She was like, I was like, yeah, I just got a business credit card. She was like, yeah, you need to get the I think it was an Amex she was talking about. She was like, just have your mom do a kitchen renovation, spend $40,000, and you just pay the credit card back. And in my head, I'm like, my mom ain't got $40,000 to do what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, but what she said made sense and it stuck with me. So I'm realizing what she was saying to get those points so that now you can travel, you know,
For free.
Yeah,
I
the
can upgrade
flights.
to first class and actually experience some of those things of luxury that a lot of us actually want to experience without breaking the bank.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm gonna learn credit. So started studying FCRA laws, FDCPA laws, and once I understood, I was like, nah, I can help my people.
Yeah.
Started with my mom, my sister, myself, and my immediate family. Because my goal, and I'll tell y'all, my goal is I want my own neighborhood.
Yeah.
I want a community.
Yeah.
Move everybody in, even if it's like you talked about, even if it's far off.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Yeah.
It's can't nobody touch it. Ain't no HOA telling me what
Yeah,
to do.
That's exactly what I was saying.
You know what I'm saying?
You
So
want to build a village.
yeah, so that was always my goal. I'm like, I want something that's mine.
Yes.
Just mine. So started with them, was able to get stuff off their credit. My mom was like, you should start helping people. Like, for real. Like, I was like, nah, I don't want to do that because I don't really like people. Because I hate when people make excuses. No, I'm serious. I hate when people make excuses.
yeah.
So I try my best not to give people excuses
Yeah.
and not to bite off more than I can chew. She's like, nah, you should do it. And I was like, man, my mama believe in me, so I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And started helping people. So seeing results very quickly and me recognizing the industry. A lot of people were just creating courses and saying regurgitating, you know, different USC codes and CFR codes and stuff on the internet. I said, man, I'm gonna take this junk a step further. I'm gonna learn how to actually sue these companies and get what I want quick.
Yeah.
So started doing that, found some mentors in that space, and started learning how to sue debt collectors.
Let me
Once
ask you something real quick before you keep going. I want to ask you,
yeah.
when you started this, was people kind of lured because you were young?
Yeah.
Were they kind of like looking
People,
at you like
people,
this,
when
man,
you're
he don't
younger,
know what the hell
when-
you talking about?
until I sit down and have a conversation with them, then they like, oh, okay, this young brother know what he talking about.
Yeah.
But it's because it's that whole don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
I used to get that even in corporate, and even in my first job. What made me understand that was I got a baby face.
Yeah.
So I'm 23, 24, coming in here having conversations with C-level accounting managers, CEO, board of directors, and they looking at me. And I remember one lady said, "Are you an intern?"
Wow.
And I said, "No, ma'am, I work here full time." I said, "I look like a kid." She said, "Yeah, you do, until you speak."
Yeah.
So I ended up getting promoted quickly, and I was forced to be put in front of rooms of C-level executives, and I have to explain to them our findings in these audits.
And they
So-
looking at you like
he killing it.
He can't know what
like
he's doing.
one of the guys like, hey, you should come work for us. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I got non-compete compete.
Right.
So that built that that confidence to speak and understand how to control a room,
Yeah.
how to get my point across,
Yeah.
make you understand what I'm saying, but not insult you at the same time,
Yeah.
and not make you feel dumb for not knowing.
Well, the other question I wanted to ask you, because of course I feel like people look at your age and question you.
Yeah.
But then, did they also look at your complexion? Was that an issue, even with your own people?
Yeah, until I show them the results.
Yeah.
Because think about it, today's age is different than when you were younger or even when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Social media is everywhere. You can get on my Instagram and see, oh, this lady got a check from TransUnion for $11,000 for the stuff. This
Yeah.
person got $1,000 from a debt collector. So when people try to insult my intelligence, I don't take it personally. I come back with something like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Tell me what you do. Like, let's have a conversation. If you
Yeah.
want to take it there, let's
Yeah.
tell me what you do.
Because I think it don't even be. I feel like it's not even intentional. It's just the way we've been wired and programmed.
Exactly. I read
to
a book.
Think that way.
So I read a book. It said that cynics, I think it said cynics. Some people don't want results. They just want to find a reason why they can't.
Yeah.
I can't have a conversation. Once I have a conversation with you and I understand that you're negative and you just
Oh,
everything is negative, there's nothing else we can discuss. There's nothing I can do for you because you've already made in your mind you can't be successful. Like when people see other people in the world that making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month, making what people make at a job in a year, they be like, oh, he had to have somebody help him, or like you don't know what that person went through. So when people tell me that, people are like, oh, somebody gave you that. I say, you don't know how much I've spent on mentorships, how many books I've read, how many summers I'm not outside because I'm in the house studying and learning. But it does become, they do challenge you until they see you know your stuff, and then it's like, oh, how can we work together? Nah, bro, no. Like we ain't got nothing to talk about. So it's there, and because a lot of people who look like us do, we know people scam.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are more skeptic now, even with the webinars and people
for sure.
they're like, just join a webinar, then you sit in there for like hour 30, and then at the end of the thing,
They're
it's
trying to
not.
sell you something.
Yeah, but and then they didn't really say much. They talk. It's like they're talking in circles. It's around what they're what they're
Right.
centered about.
No, for sure.
The whole thing, because I've been in a few of them, but they
They give you
never
outside
really.
information.
Yes, it's always just around and around. Then at the end, they like you can get the thing, and it's
Right.
like okay, but
For sure.
But it's like the webinar is stationed to like make you feel like you're gonna get the answer in it,
Right.
but then it's not actually you don't
Give you the answer. I feel you. And because of that, I don't have a course or a mentorship or nothing. I tell people book the one-on-one. If you want help, book the one-on-one. We can have a real conversation.
Right.
You'll get every answer you want because my whole thing, people are, oh, you giving the game away. Well, the game is sold, not told.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care to give you the game because 97% of people are afraid to execute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lack
Yeah.
people, people lack execution skills on every front. They'll have the book, the mentor, the game plan, the outline, and they still won't do it.
That's crazy.
They still won't do it.
That's crazy.
So it's like for me, I don't care to give it out because I want to see you successful. Like
Yeah.
if me and you both were in Turo and I knew more and I knew something that could help you, if I didn't give it to you, I felt like I'm doing a disservice to you and your dad
Yeah.
Right.
because I didn't give it to you. Even if you don't implement it, now I'm helping you think differently about your industry and what you can do to revolutionize what you're doing. But a lot of people feel like if I give you the game, you're gonna get better than me. Go. It's
Yeah,
a billion people in the world. You're not hurting my pockets.
Exactly.
No.
And even people in the credit space hit me up all the time. I got people I used to look up to in the credit space book with me and be like, hey bro, what you think about this? And I'm like, man, I used to look up to you, like, and now you asking me questions so that
That's like
it's like a
But that's really good. though.
right, 100%.
That's really good because usually people allow their emotions
The ego.
or their ego to be like, man, I ain't calling him, I ain't gonna ask him. But for
100%.
them to do that, that's really good because they let all that go and say, hey man, I need some help.
And
basically.
I look at it like now we can partner because you're
Valuable still.
Well, you're valuable and your audience is different than mine.
Yeah.
I'm not. It doesn't take anything off my plate to partner with you.
Yeah.
It don't take anything off my plate to have a conversation with somebody that's in the same industry as me because it's no sweat off my back. If you go out and make $1 million off what we did, God bless you. That's what God had for you. But I always have been told what God has for you, nobody can take. So I don't care.
Yeah.
I do, and I'll tell you, I was like, I don't care. They like, you don't
Yeah.
care. You ain't got no course. You don't care about missing out money. I don't care about none of that. That's not my goal. My goal is to help. My goal is to understand, and I say this all the time. When I was younger, I was like, dang, I can't wait to find a mentor who just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And my mom said, you were looking for that, but you became that.
Ooh.
You
Say this,
became
hold
that
on,
person.
Say that again.
As an adolescent, I
Yeah.
was looking for the mentor to help, hey, give me the plan, tell me what to do to get me to where I want to be. And my mom said, you became that person.
Ain't that something?
Wow.
You know what I'm
Became
saying?
what you was looking for.
Exactly.
But that's
Oh, wow.
that is so powerful because somebody tell people you are the answer to your prayer.
100%.
Everything you're looking for is already there.
There is nobody out there that's going to
Already
save you.
there.
Yeah. I
You
used
to
just
say
save
the same
yourself.
thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because there's nobody out there that's gonna save us. Like
Yeah.
somebody might give us the information, but at the end of the day, we still got to go do the
Still
work.
gotta do it.
We got and that's why I hate in our culture, and it's because of the internet stuff that people fake their lifestyle.
Yeah.
People look at me and be like, oh, you got a pickup truck. Yeah, but my pickup truck paid off.
Yeah.
I have other vehicles that are not my everyday vehicle
Yeah.
that are investments.
Yes. Yes.
I don't need to drive around all day, every day in the land. That's just my choice. I got other stuff I want to do. When those investment or those other businesses or things out there can pay for that type of stuff,
Yeah.
then I'll go do that. But that's not my focus. But so many people want to look the part without
Yeah.
actually being the part,
Yeah.
and I hate that. People will see me. I'll be in a t-shirt, some jogging pants, or a jogging suit, or maybe a suit. That's it. I don't need a whole
Right.
bunch of jewelry. Because I feel like a lot of people, and that comes from being an athlete. A lot of people are, how do I put this, materialistic, and their identity is in certain things.
Yeah.
So after leaving football and realizing you were more than just an athlete.
Yeah.
You are an individual. You are a young black man. And something my mom used to always tell me is you got to understand you got 2 strikes. You black and you a man.
Mm.
I can't mess up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't get that many chances.
Nah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? So I understood I can't mess up. So the whole trying to be gangster, be hard, and put on a persona and a facade that I'm not.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
I
Yeah,
think
I
a lot
get-
of people are just dealing with their own
Identity crisis.
insecurities.
100%.
And that's just all it is. That's why you
100%.
see they use those things to cover up what's really going on. They put a
100%.
Band-Aid on themselves.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that's amplified in college. So while you was in college, you probably seen a lot.
Oh,
of this
100%.
more, like,
You got people from
yeah.
Kennesaw, no disrespect to Kennesaw, but you got people from the outskirts coming to college talking they're a thug. Boy, you ain't no thug. Your mama a doctor and your daddy. Like, what are you talking? Like, what we talking about?
We talked about that same.
Because
Yeah.
people do that. They're trying to
Yeah.
create a new identity. And it's like, boy, I know you in real life. Cut it out.
Yeah.
Like, you not like that. And that's okay. But you don't have to portray being a gangster or being hard for somebody to know you mean business. Like, people know I mean business. I'm not gonna bullshit you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah.
We can have a tough conversation, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, bro, I'll bust a cappy up. Like, I'm not gonna do all that. Like, it's no point. Like,
Right.
you might have kids at home. I'm not gonna take nobody's kid.
And
I mean,
it's
somebody's father.
senseless at the end of the day. Because
Crazy.
what is it about?
But if you
What
think
do
about it, that's what the government want. They
Yeah.
want us to kill.
Yeah.
They want us to knock each other
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
They want us to be at odds, and that's why when I see on social media the whole conversation of 50-50 or do what work for you. A lot of people
Yeah.
out here date for status. You're not dating a person you really like. You
Yeah.
thought you liked that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
That she can't even cook.
Yeah. Can't even have a conversation.
She can't have a conversation
Can't
if it ain't
inspire
about
you.
something.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to tell people, like, you got to figure out who you are
Yeah.
and what you really want. Like, I tell people, I got a daughter.
Yeah.
My daughter and my mom always say your goal as a parent, and I'm sure you can attest to this,
Yeah.
is to make sure that your kid's life is 1,000% better than yours.
Yeah.
I don't want my daughter to have to go to college and eat ramen noodles.
Yeah.
People think you get a scholarship and they think, oh, your life is great. Bro, I was still eating ramen noodles. We used to go to Sam's Club. I used to have the 12 pack or the 16 in the
Oh, the
cardboard
noodles?
stacked
Yeah.
up. Oh yeah,
Oh, stacked up.
stacked
Yeah.
up. Like, but people don't understand that because again, everybody puts on a facade and try to be something, and it's like, nah, we all trying to make it. We all struggle with stuff. We all got things we trying to do. So, understanding financial literacy, I felt like when Jay-Z really said financial literacy my only hope, I felt that. Like, I felt that in my soul because those skills and understanding that information, nobody can take that away from me. They can fire me from a job any day. But if I'm able to create my own infrastructure,
Yeah.
put my own people on payroll, have investments that are passively making me money where I don't have to invest that time, I'm good.
And understanding what money is.
Yeah.
That's our biggest.
People-
It's not
oh, God.
understanding.
They think it's just this.
It's about a flow of current, like a water. You want it to flow.
You want to have different
consistently.
types.
You don't want to, yeah.
Just
And
cash
that's-
is not
yeah.
good.
That's
Yeah.
why I feel like all this is important because I feel like when we stop and realize that, like you said, it's a lot of things that's already against us,
Uh-huh.
and the more confused we are, the less we are to like make sense of everything
And
come
become
together.
unified. Exactly.
Right. So us doing this is, we're trying to help people to see what we see and,
Right.
or just see stuff for what it really is,
For
and
sure.
then to help us come together and, like you said, we get better with the financial literacy and all that. So then you can start stepping into other things and meeting other people and doing bigger things
Right.
than what you're doing right now.
Yes.
If you think like, take myself for instance. I didn't grow up learning financial literacy,
Right.
so I knew nothing about
Right.
it. But had I knew about that growing up and the amount of children I had, we could have built an empire off
An empire.
credit.
Right,
You know-
but you instilled discipline in them to where you
Yeah.
already told me about him. I know he
Yeah.
is going. That's what I told you. I said your son gonna be fine
Yeah.
because you've already instilled those practices inside your kids of hey, work hard,
Yeah.
figure out what you want to do and work hard. But a lot of times in our community, because the home is broken,
Yeah.
or because a lot of kids in my generation, the conversation I've had, because I told people I did the therapy stuff because I knew after football I was not okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I was struggling. I was starting. Man, I was about 250. I was 250. I just
Yeah.
drinking, smoking,
Yeah.
eating,
Yeah.
working, traveling. That's all I was doing. So you start to indulge in those things, and you don't realize like I'm not okay.
Yeah.
So you gotta be, and it's that ego thing. Some people, oh no, bro, I'm fine. I'm not talking to them.
Yeah.
One, I'm gonna tell them my problems for because that's their job.
Yeah.
Their job is to help
Yeah.
create a plan for you to learn who you are and fix the things you struggle with. And I'm glad y'all had a relationship because me and my dad had a tough conversation when my grandpa died. I didn't feel like my dad was there enough.
Yeah.
And I told him that. I said, hey, why weren't you there enough? And he said his exact words were, I apologize, but I just raised you the way I was raised.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when he said that,
Yeah.
it was like 20 something years worth of, I wouldn't even say hurt, but like anger and
Release?
frustration. Yeah, it was like a release because
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
he was just doing what he was taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you have those conversations, you like, dang, I can literally change the whole trajectory of my whole family
Yes.
just by
Yeah.
asking a tough question.
Yes.
Or sometimes in the home, we
I said, I'm like the last of the sliding under the rug. era.
Yeah,
I said
you said that back
yeah,
then.
no,
when it
it's,
happened.
Yeah.
and I feel like those are conversations we don't have as not even just a family, as a black community,
Yeah.
because so many things have been
Definitely.
made okay.
Yes.
And having that conversation with my dad, after that I was like, cool. I was like, I feel so much better. Like my grandpa literally had just died, and we were
Yeah.
in his house, and I asked him that. He told me that And he bust out crying. So I
Yeah.
almost started crying, but I started to feel better. I'm like,
You
this
get-
man literally just did what he was taught.
That's what I told him about. I said, you know, we talked about my life in the first episode, and I was telling him about his nana, my mom. And I was like, once I understood that she loved me the way that she knew how,
That's it.
I was fine.
Yeah.
Because I understand this is where I'm expecting you to do something
Right.
that you haven't been taught.
Right.
So it's like we only see our parents as our parents.
Parents,
We never
exactly.
see them as young adults, young
Right,
kids.
right.
We don't know the what they went through. And like me and him talking about my past and all the things I
Yeah.
went through, he like
That doesn't help.
My dad went through all the being shot in the head, moving from here to here, going to prison in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and all these different things. You've been through all that.
Listen,
Man, I'm finna do great things.
I asked my dad, I said, why did you move? Because my parents split when I was, 5, 6?
Mm-hmm.
My dad said, you didn't understand. My mom and my sister had just died. I needed a new beginning. And me and your mom weren't together, so I couldn't see y'all as much as I want to. I needed fresh air.
Right.
He said that. I was like, pfft.
Mom and sister. That's
My aunt and my grandma died 2 years apart. I think my grandma died in 97. My aunt died in 98 or 99.
And then you looking at him as your dad, but you're not looking at him as
the
where,
person.
at that moment,
Right.
Mentally, where he
Exa-
was.
'Cause I didn't- as a kid, you don't know.
Your dad, but at the same time, he don't even know what he doing.
Bro, my dad told me he said on Mother's Day he did not listen to the radio for 10 years because he couldn't take it. And listening and hearing that emotion is like, damn, I was mad at you for no reason.
Nope.
And this happened in 2022, right?
So no, this was 2020
2020, because when his grandpa
because that's my grandpa passed. Yeah, my grandpa passed September 11th, 2020.
2020.
So hearing that, I'm like, bro, I can literally change the world. I didn't have a kid at that time,
Yeah.
so my daughter wasn't born until December 22nd, 2022. So I'm like, I can change the world for her. She never has to experience none of the stuff I ever went through.
Yeah.
And me being an entrepreneur and building my own infrastructure and understanding credit and all the other things that I'm passively investing into, I can make sure I don't miss nothing.
Yeah. And you was able to dump that emotional
Yes.
stress before your child came into the world. You was
100%.
able to get rid of that, so that
Yeah.
helped you even more moving forward
Right.
as a father.
Yeah.
Because to have that emotional luck baggage carrying on into your relationship with your children,
Yeah,
it
you-
just can just build up
Man.
into some
But
crazy.
Yeah, and as you've seen, like you said, when you was in college, you said you knew you wasn't okay, and that's why I feel like when we started this, we started with the mental aspect
Right.
of things because. Yes, financial is important, but first you got to figure out you. That's the most important
Yeah.
thing because I feel like I realized that more earlier than other people because I had people I knew that was they was going through things and they had the thought of killing themselves too.
Right. I
things
think
of that.
I think at some point we've all at least thought about it once. I can
Yeah,
tell you,
yeah.
I've had those because you just like, I'm not doing nothing. I make no impact on the world, but then you don't realize how many people love you.
Yeah, that's
and people be like, "Oh, nobody love me." That's bullshit. Bullshit. It's somebody.
Yeah.
Like but that's what you fed yourself because you become a prisoner of your own mind when you
Emotion,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah, your emotions in your own mind when you don't get it out.
Literally.
And if you listen to this, I don't care if you black, white, green, yellow, there is free therapy for people all over the world. It's up to you to make the decision on if you want to get the help. If you don't want to get the help, we can't help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But there's free therapy for people all over the world. There are people black, white, green, yellow killing themselves every day because they feel like because of what society says you're supposed to be or you're supposed to have, they have no significance, and that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm with y'all, and that's why when your dad told me about y'all podcast, I want to come on because that's what I embody. I all the time I'm telling my friends, hey bro, if you're not okay, call me.
Yeah.
Or if you're not okay, go talk to somebody.
Right.
Right? There's like if I call you my friend or my brother or my sister and you feel like you can't talk to me because you feel like I'm gonna judge you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then we not as cool as I thought we was. So I'm gonna call somebody, hey bro, I messed up.
Yeah.
Like this what happened.
Yeah.
I know I was wrong, or I know this was wrong, or what you think about this. Like you gotta be comfortable having those conversations. If you can't, go get you a therapist.
Yeah.
Because
that comes with confidence too. You have I only say come with confidence because you got to start somewhere.
you have to.
You got to start
And
somewhere.
that's what I preach.
So-
1% every day. Because think about it. When you make goals, or even when you make goals, or even when I make goals, sometimes we think about the end goal. And something my grandpa used to say, he used to be like, a lot of times we don't make decisions because we think about the end goal. So we think about A to Z. We not thinking about God putting us in B, C, D, E, F, G. Right? We thinking about the end goal rather than allowing God to guide our footsteps to get there. And a lot of times that's all you got to do is just start. So I be telling people it's 1% every day. If I can compound 1% for a whole month, I got 30% better that month. Or even if it's 7 days in a week. If I can win 4 days out of 7, every single week you're compounding. And people don't understand that, man.
Yeah, because sometimes I think people don't understand that along that way, sometimes things have to happen along that way for you to become and then get into that Z point.
Right. I'm sure your dad has always told you or said something of, if I gave you this, you wouldn't know how to handle it.
Well,
yeah, I think
what I say about him, and that we had a similar conversation, but I don't know, like him, my oldest son, and my middle son, they all like he got a little bit of both of them
Right.
in him. Then he has himself, his own identity. So he's picked a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then he turned it into his
himself.
own thing. And then some of me. You know what I'm saying? So I remember one time he told me, I don't know if he remembered this, but he told me, I said, what you want to do when you grow up? What you want to be? He said, you. I was like, dang.
He said if he only knew.
I gotta start now. A little bit. I gotta really start telling him, because I got where he was coming from, but he didn't know a lot of the things that had went on in my past. So it was good. Even when he found out I had went to jail, he couldn't believe it.
He like you.
They told me that he went to the army and he was helping them build like aircrafts back when I was little, and then not until like later on he had told me. I was like, what in the?
You like, nah, man, quit playing. Yeah, because you see him in a certain light.
Yeah, he did. He seen me as like I almost like a superhero when he was younger, growing up, and
that's how it's supposed to be.
I just didn't want to let him down.
Right.
I wanted to be the one who told him about my life before he heard it for all these other people. But he used to hear stories about me fighting or getting in trouble and stuff like that.
I was a little confused because I never really knew what you did until like way later on. I was just like, you was working, so that's all I really assumed, and and that was it.
It's great when you get to hear those stories. Like a lot of my dad's friends tell the stories from when I was little, like some of the stuff I'm used to do. I'm like, I did that, and then one time one of my uncles told me, he's like, man, I thought you was gonna be in jail or something. How bad you was. And I'm like, that's crazy. But that's what they saw at that time, and then they see what you become as an adult, and they like, man, that's totally different. So I just feel like sometimes, you're right. People don't understand certain things gotta happen, and if God always give you exactly what you want, you're not gonna appreciate it. You're not gonna appreciate it at all. You didn't do no work to get it, so you're not gonna have the discipline to even keep it or to help it or to multiply. Yeah,
that's the biggest thing, because I know me myself. I didn't know nothing about money, and I didn't appreciate it. All I knew was how to get it, and then how to lose it. Get it, lose it. Get it, lose it. Get it, lose it.
Right.
Not knowing the things that. Like, for those who don't know, this is my man's right here, and I'm going to come back in about 60, 90 days. We're going to bring him back. We might bring him back before then. Sure. But I want to give a testimony of what he has done for me and my credit, so people, just another thing out there to show people that it is, like he said, people out here helping people.
Right.
You can be helped if you want to be helped, but you got to accept that help. And that was something I had a problem with, too. I had a friend of mine who... he offered me some money. He offered, like, he knew I was going through a bad time. And I didn't ever say nothing to him. I had went over to his house one day to see him, and he's like, he called me. He's like, the door unlocked. I'll be downstairs in a minute. He was up there talking to his wife. So when he came downstairs to meet me, to greet me or whatever, he's like, man, what's going on, brother? I'm like, nothing. What's up? He said, why are you looking like that? He said, what's going on? He's like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna pay your rent for the next 3 months. I'm like, damn. Then I ain't want to take it. He said, right. You done help so many people in your life. Now you got somebody trying to help you. You don't want to sell.
And a lot of times we do that. Go. And a lot of times we do that. We push the help away, and people are literally trying to help us.
Hey, I hate to cut this short but we have to go. But I just want to thank our guest on here for bringing us all this knowledge about credit and just financial literacy, period. And hopefully y'all learned something of that, and we promise to bring him back on here soon. and give y'all a little more of this knowledge. You want to say something before we go?
Just I hope people realize the steps they got to take to get to certain points, and don't be discouraged. That's all I'm gonna say.
Say something.
Man, only thing I want to say is it got to be in you, not on you. Don't let that go over your head.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Peace.
Peace.